called me and you thought the alien was in your room from... Yeah. But I don't want to talk about that. Oh, okay, sorry.
And there's always sightings of UFOs and all that, so, you know what I mean, people want to see aliens. I want to see an alien.
It's just interesting. They're not human. They're not animals. We don't know what they are.
To think that humans are the only living organism to populate this universe is stupidity.
I think a lot of people want to know that there's something out there that's beyond our Earth.
They're coming, and we'll be ready.
All right, our panel remains. Buzz Aldrin, the NASA astronaut, second man on the moon, remains. We're going to have him pick up in a moment his description of that thing flying across the sky as he heads toward the moon. Fife Symington now joins us, the former governor of Arizona, who in 1997 ridiculed an infamous UFO sighting by thousands of people in his state and recently admitted he was wrong. By the way, Fife runs the Arizona Culinary Institute. Well, you were wrong because...
Well, I saw the Phoenix lights along with hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and when I saw them on that day in March, I didn't say anything about it. And then the whole issue came back up again in the following June with a big USA Today, I think, article, and there was sort of a frenzy about it. And so I felt that a little levity wouldn't hurt, so we did a spoof over the alien invasion, if you will. And I think a lot of people misunderstood what I was doing. We were just having fun trying to lighten people up
so you
over
do
the issue.
Acknowledge what?
Well, I acknowledge that I saw a craft. I was up in the Sunny Slope area around 8 o'clock at night, and I went out to look to the west, where all the news channels were filming the Phoenix lights, and to my astonishment, this large, sort of delta-shaped, wedge-shaped craft moved silently over the valley, over Squaw Peak, dramatically large. Very distinctive leading edge with some enormous lights, and it just went on down to the southeast valley, and I was absolutely stunned because I was turning to the west looking for the distant Phoenix lights, and all of a sudden this apparition appears.
It was not an airplane.
No, it was definitely not an airplane, and not A-10s, and it was certainly not high altitude flares, because flares don't fly in formation.
But he's a pilot.
Okay.
And a captain in the Air Force.
A captain in the Air Force. Buzz, what did you see?
What did I see during the flight?
Yeah,
we saw one of the 4 panels, the 99.999. And these are 3 guys who have flown in space twice and have looked out at the stars and all sorts of things. So, belief, yes, we certainly saw something. We could see, look at it in a second. It was one of the panels, yeah.
So that's a quick question. Yeah. When you were a test pilot, I think, was it Edwards Air Force Base?
I commanded a test pilot school afterward. I was not a test pilot trained.
Okay, I was told by a very close source of yours that you actually saw something other than that.
A lot of people have said things that I saw. That doesn't mean that I don't want to reveal the source of national television.
Someone very close to you told me that you had another sighting that you actually chased to you.
In your years of flying, have you seen strange things?
I was flying a T-33, I guess, and I looked out and saw a star out there. But it wasn't a star, it was Venus. But it kept following me all along. And you would swear that it's another object out there, and you can turn and... I want to congratulate you on your magic show last night with all the illusions, because now we're getting a lot more illusions tonight. And can you explain everything that happened with Chris Angel last night? No, you can't.
It doesn't make it.
That's right.
Here's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to take a break, come back, and get the thoughts in a wind-up session of what all these people think, and especially what the governor and what Buzz think about what the 4 others have been talking about when we come back.
Public interest in the last few years has increased very greatly in a phenomenon which has been identified as flying saucers. These stories have led to much fiction and much fancy.
Okay, let's do a round robin here. Buzz, What do you think after all you've heard tonight? You think there are...
I wish I could solve your dilemma. I think it's fascinating to hear both sides of this. I really do believe that you need to have very firm evidence, and cover-up is something that just doesn't exist for very long. Sooner or later, somebody's going to squeal on it, or... And I just can't believe that that we would be covering up such a major, significant event as true evidence of beings from somewhere else.
Governor, from what you saw, was that from outer space?
I think it was from another world. I've never seen anything like it, Larry. It was enormous. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And, you know, it was all over the news. Hundreds, if not thousands of people saw it.
It was huge, right?
Yeah, and so...
Traveling fast.
So I know of no other explanation unless Phantom Skunk Works have something cooking that we don't know about. And
two distinguished gentlemen, an astronaut, a governor, different views from what you've seen.
Well, I didn't see what he saw.
I'm not sure we disagree.
You say you're waiting for people to come forward. People have come forward. High-ranking military officials have come forward and talked about the validity to this
Stanton,
phenomenon.
do you think we're ever going to know? No.
I hope so. I'm an optimist. Before I leave this planet, I think. And I think this year will be a good year because the media are finally beginning to recognize that there's an awful lot of interest in this subject. You know that, but not everybody does.
We'll never know your side, will we? Because they'll always say...
Well, no. As soon as
you
we
can
have
never prove it.
As soon as we found an actual alien, a body, an actual spacecraft, one of those probes that we hear all about, if somebody brings one of those, okay, that's all we need. That's all science needs, is some kind of empirical evidence.
Think we'll ever know, James?
I think that if you watch Out of the Blue, you'll know that we are definitely and have been misled for 60 years or more. I mean, there's no question. I haven't had one person watch this movie with the evidence that we've collected from all around the world. And by the way, I'd like to mention my co-producers, Boris Zuboff and Tim Coleman. But I challenge anyone to watch Out of the Blue and then conclude there's nothing to it. It's impossible.
George, you think we'll know?
Vast universe, Larry. To think that we haven't been visited before, I think, is foolish. One of Buzz's colleagues, Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14, has told me that he believes we've been visited by extraterrestrials. I think it's real.
Think we will know, Governor?
I hope so. I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't have. But of course, the skeptics, the professional skeptics, won't be happy unless there's a body. But you know, we have a lot of evidence, a lot of photographs, a lot of news media coverage of it. In the Lights Over Phoenix, it was a very compelling, dramatic event, seen by so many people that it's you can't just kind of blow that off and say, oh well, that everybody in Phoenix was hallucinating.
We're almost out of time, Buzz.
I think we're within several hundred years of being able to visit somewhere else. All right? Now, the odds of our being visited in the last 60 years, when we're so close, and you look at the billions of years that we've been in existence here, what an odd coincidence it is that two societies just happen to interact with each other at this time.
Thank you all
when
very
you
much.
Consider that we want to see things.
We're out of time. We'll go look at the moon, Buzz, you and I. Thanks very much for joining.